So we are going to start our lecture today with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
From the auspices of UNESCO Chair on Medicinal and Bioorganic Natural Product Chemistry, I welcome you all for the UNESCO lecture series. It is our fourth lecture today. And before we start our lecture with our distinguished scholar, I would like to convey the message of UNESCO Chair here. So iccbs has the prestige of having the UNESCO status, as well as the UNESCO chair, hosting the UNESCO chair institute here in iccbs. So what are the objectives and the programs of UNESCO Center is basically to link researchers and practitioners from around the globe in the field of natural product chemistry, as well as research and training of the young scholars, and teaching program in the field of natural product chemistry, as well as inter-university connection. So iccbs has become part of UNESCO chair back in 2020 when the signing ceremony was happening here. And just last year in 2024, Professor Dr. Raza, who is our current director, has taken over the responsibility of UNESCO chairholder after finishing the tenure of Professor Dr. Iqbal Chaudhary. So with that, I would like to invite our director to come over and say some words before we start the official lecture. Thank you so much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. First of all, let me thank my dear friend, elder brother, Professor Zabta Sherwani, who agreed to just deliver a lecture under the auspices of UNESCO chair on bioorganic medicinal chemistry and natural product chemistry. Actually, just for those students who have not attended this series of lecture, so the mandate of UNESCO chair is to just impart training programs to the young scholars. So there are many African students who are sponsored by the UNESCO, and they are just getting training in our laboratory under these programs. In addition to this, we conducted the largest training program for the Pakistani youth, where more more than 180 students were just enrolled for 1 year to get training in the laboratories of the iccbs. And their programs I also initiated when I took over as a UNESCO chairholder last year, and then it's a mega program because accommodating 180 students in the laboratories, it required a lot of resources and laboratory space. But Alhamdulillah, it is going on already very much successfully. Similarly, we conducted a number of workshops which in the cutting edge area of natural product and medicinal chemistry. And those workshops were extremely useful for the training of the young generation. And in addition to this, we invited leader in the area of natural product and medicinal chemistry, and they deliver lectures. And today lecture is one of the lecture which you will be listening shortly. So this is actually a very important lecture today, and the other lectures which were delivered by leading experts like Professor Rahman delivered a lecture. Professor Madam Dina, she is one of the best natural product chemists in the country. She also delivered a lecture, and Professor Cordell, he is actually president of the Natural Product Society in the world. So he also delivered a lecture, and now Professor Zabta Sherwani, and then there would be many more to follow. So there are regular activities which we are conducting under the UNESCO chair, and I hope that today lecture you will learn. And this lecture is actually we conduct this program under hybrid modes. So this lecture is attended across the globe from various countries, because the links and the details are shared with the UNESCO, which they circulate across 170 chairs in the globe. So this is indeed a very informative sessions, and I hope you will be having a very nice next 40 or 45 minutes where we will be listening Professor Zabta Sherwani, who is the Vice Chancellor, Karachi University, a very renowned scientist and an international figure, and very close to my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So let me introduce to you our today's distinguished Professor Zabta Khan Chinwari, who is one of the Pakistan's leading scientists. His career covers many fields, including molecular systematics, bioethics, medicinal plants, and sustainable biotechnology. He, his professional journey includes many important roles in the institutions like Pakistan Museum of Natural History, National Agricultural Research Council, and WWF Pakistan, as well as Comstat. So later he became the Vice Chancellor of Cohort University of Science and Technology, and where he founded a Center of Institute of Medical Sciences. Also, he has been the founder of the University of Science and Technology at Bannu. He led different research initiatives around the country, including Karshi Research International and Karshi University, Lahore. He also served as the chairman of biotechnology at Qaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad. At present, he's the vice chancellor of the Federal Urdu University of Arts and Science and Technology. And over the years, Professor Shinwari has made major scientific contribution, and he has introduced about 200 plant genes in the diaspora of the ecosystem. And he also has several patents to his credit. He has written about 8 books and published more than 550 research articles, which have received about or more than 26,000 citations. He also supervised many graduate students, including like about 100 postgraduate students, and delivered hundreds of lectures around the world. For his services to the country, he received top national honors, including Tamga Imtiaz and Star Imtiaz, as well as the UNESCO Science Laureate Award. Today, Dr. Chinwari will enlighten us about the topic of covering from lab to lifestyle, which involve advancing herbal medicine through nanotechnology and clinical trial at the Karshi and Federal University Natural Wellness Clinic. So with that, I would like to request Professor Sherwani to come over and take the stage. Thank you so much.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Anand said, sir, I'm grateful to you for this opportunity and to you too to have such a brilliant group of people, because what I'm going to talk to you today is not only about some science only, but some invitation to you, sir, that we may work together for something which is very important not only to this country but to the world. And we already initiated something here in Karachi and now in Islamabad also. That is, I worked with WHO also and UNESCO and, several UN organizations. I don't want to name that. But their one feeling is that the herbal medicine or the traditional medicine, you call it Unani medicine, you call it Ayurveda, you call it whatever, there are different names, Kampo in Japan, for example. The problem with it is that there is a competition between allopathic and this medicine, and usually each other they discourage, saying that go there, don't come here, or if you come here, don't go there. So, and the reason is that, it's a billion-dollar business of medicine. So that's why people are, mainly, focusing on one type. Though we believe that there should be integrated system of medicine. And for that, the other side, when we talk about herbal medicine, they usually say it's a thousands of years of journey. So therefore, we don't need any clinical trial, for example. It is proven, for example. So we want a middle way. Your WHO is thinking that there are not much of the clinical trial available on herbal medicine. I mean the scientific data. So evidence-based science, what we call it. So today what I'm going to talk to you is one, the importance, whatever we were doing in our labs. And my labs are basically still, I'm distinguished national professor, so I have a lab in Qaeda University, Islamabad, where students are still working on this. So sharing with you what we did and what importance of it is. Then two, an invitation to Raza that we started clinics, herbal medicine clinic, and you all invite you to visit just this Gulshan. We have a new establishment of Karshi Health Clinic, which is free for everybody, including the medicine. You can go, if you have some problem, discuss with, there are 2 doctors around the clock available there. You will be diagnosed and you will be given free medicine. And this we want to take further, that we want that Raza, myself, we are in fact born from different parents in different areas, but we are real brothers. So we have trust on each other. Sometimes, the trust deficit also plays a negative role to discourage science. But we are one, and our aim, both of us, is to serve this humanity to the best of our whatever energy we have, because we know that we will die today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow. This life is unpredictable. So whatever we can do, let's do for the human. Leave behind something good legacy. So that is it. And that's why, sir, I request you. Earlier, I remain the president of National Council for TIB. This TIB means herbal medicines. There is a council of federal government under the health ministry, and I remained their president for 5 years. We were discussing all that. We were doing all that. At that time, when I work with Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan, where I'm involved in approving the herbal medicine. I'm in the committee. So what I want you is that when Ataur Rahman asked me some year or 2 back or 3 years back, that we want to have this clinical trial sort of things established here in iccbs, and then so I guided them, sent them all the requirements, etc. So we can germinate that seedlings that I wanted to plant, and then we can work on it. One, two, we have very good, you have very good brain here, human resource from Africa and from different places. We will involve them too, and this will be, then replicated elsewhere. So these are 2, 3 invitations for you that we will work together and we start doing this thing. And not only on herbs, I'm telling you, there are something, believe me, it's unfortunately not properly recorded, but a lot of potential in it. For example, it's not only hearsay, it's a practical happening. For breast cancer, I will share with you stories that my lab is basically working on it, and there are a lot of data, a lot of patients in Pakistan, excuse me. So we are working at that, and there were several examples that people came with breast cancer, went to the doctors, and they said, so, after treatment, they say, so it's not working, so maybe a week or two, and this patient is gone. And when it starts, some particular herbs I will show you, believe me, they were still living for several years. And they were the relatives of the senior scientists in the country. Finally, they came to my lab and said, oh, we read about your papers, or blah, please guide us. And then it helped. But if we do little more effort, record it, work on it, maybe we can register something. And part of it, I will be telling you that maybe we can use nano technology, which my lab is also using. We can work on that. I don't know how it works, but let me try. So this is what I'm talking to you about the new era of medicine. I have a lot of slides for you. Believe me, I reduce it from some 300 to less than 100, but I try to cover it in 40 minutes. We'll try my best. And then the opportunity, Pakistan, for example, what we have, why we are important, like that, and then the gap between what's needed to be done and what's being done. And there on the other side, the whole presentation, first, importance of Pakistan, biodiversity, two, these modern tools that we have, can we use it, nanotechnology, for example, clinical trial, and what should we be doing? And the practical application, as I said, we already established a clinic there. Please go there, visit there, treat yourself and your relatives free of cost, anybody, from the street even. No cost, because I remain CEO of that industry. And in return, I asked for these facilities, which I got, and medicine is there. So you just go, even if you are predicting that you are ill, you are not ill, you can just go and enjoy some free medicine. And then finally, the impact on future outlook, requesting the director iccbs to kindly be on board to have all this, how can we go forward? First of all, Pakistan. I love to say this sentence everywhere, wherever I go, that this is the only country in the world which stretches from 0 meter to 8,611 meter. There is no country which has this diversity. We have an Everest which is little above our K2, but they wish to have some place like Karachi, for example. They don't have plains. They are all mountainous regions, whoever been to Nepal or Kathmandu. So this is Pakistan, where we have everything in our country. So Allah Almighty has given you the best peace available in the world. It's we, the Nikammas in our language, that we didn't get benefit out of it. Otherwise, this is the best peace that you have. So this is number one. And then we have, if you talk only about the higher plant, the flowering plants, there's 6,000 species, which is a very good number. And because of diversity, it's really diverse. And some are only in this country, specifically in the north, from where I come. So that is that we can, and then knowledge legacy, we had a prehistoric, we have, like in this country alone, when agriculture was first started by the men who were living in the caves, the remains are in this country 10,000 years ago. First, when they started how to, and where they were male or female. What do you think? Who started agriculture? Male or female? The first time, when they were wild, they were living in the caves. What do you think? Who may have started it? Male or female? Any guess? Why? Why female? What female has to do with agriculture? Huh? Any idea? Okay, let me give you a clue. The reason was they were hunters or gatherers. They were going out to hunt and gather seeds, something to eat. The ladies were usually around the cave. So they watch, they are good observer. Even day to day, they know when they look at the men, they know what kind of men are they. So they are very good observer. They know, they can read. So what they were doing is they were around there, saw, some seeds are there, the next time it will grow. And when they try to put like this, they're plowing, etc., etc. So it was the ladies who started agriculture, not only here, but in many places. So a bit story I'm tracking from my area, but so this is the natural. And the third important thing is the growth in this field. It's really the percent, if you look at here, 532 US billion dollars, there was and the growth rate sometimes 18%. This is a really huge growth. So you all have a potential to work in this field and to get benefit of it. So almost 80% of the world population somehow, and specifically in the developing world, what you call it, the low and middle income country, they use these plants for their things. Of course, on one side now, how to fix it? Just one slide for this, modern things like genetic, because I work on all this, genetic variation, individual drug, personalized drug, this future of war, pharmacogenomics, drug efficiency and safety, all this. On one side, this development, another side, I'm talking about the thousands years old kind of stories that I'm believing. So we have to mix both. We should not isolate each other. And this is what I would be advocating now. And if you look at the global, what I said, the growth of all this very quickly, what kind of, is there any light in it? If not, I just, the powder or extract or syrups, this is how it is. And the other side, the areas where it's mainly by category, herbal pharmaceutical or dietary or supplements, etc., etc. This is how it is being used. Here, some data just as a student for you, that whether it is used as a whole plant, as a fruit, as a root, as a leaf, etc., etc. So this is figure of all that is being used globally, all these by the people in the world that is there. And now I just give you an example of India. We love to compare ourselves with India in several places. So believe me, they have an independent ministry for this. Ayush. And Ayush is that Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. There's a ministry for that. And the funds that they utilize only for medicinal plants, etc., and all other is a huge amount. Remember that their currency is far stronger than us. But they use a huge amount of money. She's the minister of that, and they have a job, they have hospitals and everything. So if we want to compete, here is a challenge for you. This is from China, just I work with them. There is an organization with this Road and Belt Initiative, ANSO, which I am the international advisor. Assalamu alaikum, sir. So I've worked with them and I went there and advised them. So they have special words for herbal medicine, like a gynae word and surgery word and everything using herbal medicine. So these are your neighbors and just a couple of stories for you. And now this nanotechnology. I mean, on one side, the 1,000 years old story, and now I'm coming to the today's world where majority of you or many of you are working, as I do on both sides. So it's which is interdisciplinary. You have to go beyond traditional formulations, and you have to have the delivery system now available for you. You know all the benefits that you can get a minute part of it. You can save biodiversity as well as you can get modern medicine out of it. So this is what now, how could we do from the lab to the lifestyle which I give. And just for you all are more educated than I am. What nano is, what does it mean, and all this. I'm not going into that detail. I expect that you all know this. So that's why I'm going a little quicker here. And then it's synthesis and how do you use it. My lab is using it, so do your labs maybe. And that's why I'm not again repeating whatever you know, the application of the nanoparticles in different, then there are questions in it, of course. And that's why when we start working together, that it being heavy metal there as a drug, as a intake, what should you be doing, and how should we be minimizing the negative impact, if any. So that too we will discuss, or at least we start with the skin kind of product. I will be giving you some international example that we all are planning. How can we really work on all this? And that's the other thing that I would love to talk about. Now, and again, I will not talk about this too much because I'm sure that you have studied all this. Clever drugs, what we call it now, the targeting moiety and the carrier kind of things, that nanotechnology is being used to reach there, to target your things and not to waste other things and not to harm you too much physically. So these are the other that now the carrier to hit the target, you can use herbal minute product using your technology and reaching the target that you want to hit, the disease you call it, or the problems that a human being or animal or anything is facing. And now this use of all this medicine, of course, in any kind of thing, is being, considered like cancer treatment. I will be giving you examples, several examples. There are a lot of data available for TB, for Alzheimer's, and as a target drug delivery system. So this is what that's why I went quick, because I assume that you may have discussed this in your classrooms. And of course, nano emulsion, nano vaccines, and breath analyzer, etc., from lung cancer, that this is being used. Another thing, again, this is the all symbolizing one slide for you, the use of nano or biotechnology, whatever you call it, from target delivery to nanopharmaceutical to medicine, and here to the various kind of diseases that you face. So the most important thing with this is, earlier, basically, by training, I am a botanist, but converted and finally coming here. And this is the need of the hour, that you young people, earlier we were saying master of what? But now we say you should be jack of everything. You should be knowing a little bit about everything if you want to be a successful person. Because in your narrow field, even the students do not get admission, for example, in plants and zoology and botany like this. In our universities, we are closing down those disciplines. People are coming to the interdisciplinary kind of discipline that they are needed, whether it's IT or whether it's biological sciences. So there is that you should be knowing that this discipline, nanotechnology or biotechnology, which include not only biology, engineering, physics, chemistry, but they are involved with a lot of other things also, and now AI also included in all this. So that's why you should be knowing many things about nano, that if you want to work on this. And of course, then when you use the particles for carrier, for things, that's what I said, that if you want to approve something, the problem with this is that heavy metals, you call it silver, you call it zinc, you call it, gold particle, that's being discussed internationally, that how could we really be doing a system that these are minimize the impact of all this that we have. And then, of course, alcohol-free kind of thing being Muslims, we are usually, it's used everywhere, even in cough syrup, there is alcohol. If I tell my wife, she will never have alcohol, that syrup. Mera mazhab kharab ho jayega. So that's why we need to, talk about the alternative ways of mechanism if you want to talk about all this. But the best thing that we propose, that we are doing, is this cosmetics. That there are a lot of products available globally that are having nanoparticles and that are being used and that are really very famous. I will be showing you examples. And this is what in my lab we are trying to have. We have already patented, and now that's what I was asking, that I'm having too many hats on my head and I don't find time to work. So maybe Raza, a young man working 20 hours a day, I know he's a very busy person, so he could help us. How can we do? These are those products available in the market having nanoparticles on cosmetics alone, and this was in 2012. Now it is doubled almost. So, and look at these companies. These are all very famous countries globally, having their products are famous ladies usually want at least, even if it's what we call it in our language, door number, but they love to have branded kind of things. So that's what's already there. And these are those products. For example, I just picked few of them so that you could know that whatever you are using, and I have circled how much percent of nanoparticle they are being used, and it's really working. It's really working. Oh, in our language, I'm sorry, those who doesn't understand Urdu, you should be at least knowing something. Okay, kale nu gora kar de gore nu chan varga. I don't know, whatever English you know, maybe my best friend is sitting here, so he can translate what to do with this. So this is one aspect. The other aspect is for the anti-cancerous kind of thing that we are working, and I will be showing you some examples. First, the facts and figures. Maybe you all know about this, the lung cancer that we have, liver, stomach, breast, etc. And if you look at the red, this is Pakistani data. We are really, really in trouble, specifically when we talk about the breast cancer data. It's every year a lot of patients are coming, and we have to find solution for that. And this is because of the lifestyle, because of several reasons that we are having. But because of our culture, shyness, they are not, informing their parents, etc. Young ladies, and they are getting it, and that's what we have to find. And what they say, 109 women die every 24 hours in Pakistan alone because of breast cancer. So that is that we have to, 1 in 8 women suffer from breast cancer in Pakistan. Every 8th woman is suffering from it. So we have to find out some other solution, because the traditional way of treatment, I mean allopathy, available chemical and other treatment are not that effective. So what to do with this then? These are again the reasons why we are having, and the global data about the various kind of cancers. This includes your life habit. This includes, drinking habit or alcohol. In Karachi alone, every third, fourth employee is having, mouth cancer because of vodka. I don't know whatever they are doing. And now I have to pass a rule that I will not treat them. But stop it. Everywhere. So this is a kind of a strange, and they know that they are dying. So there are issues that we, as I said, Gutka there, that's specifically in this region, is a typical problem, and we have to find solution again for them. And the economic cost at the bottom, I had mentioned it just for you, 1.16 trillion US dollar was estimated in 2010 for cancer alone, that they were spending. So there are various kind of available very quickly, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, or surgery. But the problem associated with that, like radiotherapy, then fatigue, skin problems, etc. For chemotherapy and for surgery, the side effect that we are having. It's not only that you may die, but the life that you are having is not of a quality life. Because when you treat yourself, you're really in deep, deep trouble. So then what to do with cancers? This is the field that we want to talk about, cancer nanomedicine. How could it work? We already working on this. What's the mechanism? What's the scientific background, etc. It's being worked, and a lot of publication, etc. are available, and we are really close to the solutions that how will this treat the cancerous human cell. Again, I'm not going to detail because I want to share with you a lot of information. So minor detail I skipped. Just this one, last decade's publication. We have at least 100 publications from my lab alone. And some of the, very good that were internationally quite famous are some of the plants, Pakistani plants, that we were trying to get nanoparticle and treat the various at lab level on mouse and on, different cancerous cell that how it was. So a lot of publications in the last few years, and we tried to target the diseases that our country is facing and find solution to this. So, and we do all, different things that you are doing here, like XRD, ATR, FTR, Raman, etc., etc. And so Pakistani plants and all this publication that I'm just quitting it. You may find it on Google through our name that they are available. This is again the data of the breast cancer in our newspaper, that what's happening and who will find solution for all this. So our scientists' responsibility is to focus on our own problems and find solution through our own resources that we have. So there is one is this teucrium, we use it, but the other, the very important plant that I would love to talk about is this not only Monotheca boxifolia, but the plant that is known as Fegonia. We call it locally Damasa. This is the plant that we work a lot. We produce several PhDs and MPhils. They are now abroad. They are working, and we are very close to the target of treating breast cancer through this plant. And this is being used for several, what we call it locally Hakims in the country, traditional healers. They are using it, specifically in the North, Sabat and Dir area. I was there last week too. They have found solution to that. So we are trying, beside having, using as a raw drug, about the nano and other particle, how could it work? So this is, sir, one option that we may work here with you and to find some kind of patents and registering and then working on the clinical trial in our clinics, etc. But when we work on it, the best part of the study was that it is not the plant material that it works, it is endophytic fungus within the plant that treats or that kills cancerous cell in the body. So when you take a plant, it's actually the fungus is killing the cell. So this is the science that tells you, when you go into the minor details, that how, and that endophytic fungus we finally identified, and now the final thing that we are going to, even the nanoparticle of that fungus that we will be using and that will be working to treat different kind of, not only cancerous cell, but other infectious diseases. It is known as a blood purifier to clean your body also, to, if you have some kind of pimples, etc. So that also it works. So we had a lot of work on this plant, as I said, all different kind of activities, you name it, and people did it. Specifically, our ladies were very good, female students, they had a lot of work on this. But the most important aspect that it came under this was this DNA barcode. You know how we got interested in this? There was a publication by some UK scientists, incidentally. They bought a plant from Karachi. They studied, they published, oh, this is very good for breast cancer. They did some compound of it. But when we had that paper, we said this plant is not found in Pakistan. So how do you say this? But then they said, so this was basically a taxonomic error. So one of our branch in my lab is this DNA barcode. This is what a lesson for you, that you need to have, as a chemist, you don't know, somebody say this is the plant, but then now with this modern technology, we can administer, God forbid if we are all, die because of some reason, and our faces are not there, from our one hair, they can identify who is that person. So same is true for these plants. So this is what our lab was doing. Then we did it. We collected all the genus Fagonia from the country and neighboring country, and we informed them. We did those DNA barcodes. What is DNA barcode? You know the coding region of yourself and the living organism, the conserved region in the individuals and in the plants, and then finally we come. So this is one of the things that we say now, chemists need to be in love affair with taxonomy, DNA barcoding, so that your results are finally non-controversial or used for years. So this was one lesson that I wanted to bring it for you. And then there are a lot of global problems that what you get is not actually, UK, they had a study, they had a tea product from different countries in the market, and they found that actually there were at least 60 different species particle in the tea. So whatever they were taking, they said, it's not only tea, it's another thing in it also. So that is a contamination when they pluck the leaves of the plants, the tea. So this is what you get. It's not what its name, because still we need people like you, young people, to identify correctly in the industry. And in my industry here in Pakistan, we have this discipline. We produce product based on DNA barcodes. And then we say, whatever you are getting is whatever is written on it. So that's what this was like. This story which I told you, this was that paper published by Lamb in Plus One. This was, I think, 2012 or somewhere. And then we started work and we did DNA barcode. And DNA barcode is very easy. You take the leaves, etc. And in future, you will have like your mobile, you will put living organism, whether insect or plant, and they will tell, oh, this is this. It's already very close to be in the market. Already with this AI, all data is available, so they are doing it will be like a GPS or thing. But in the market, you will still find people standing, oh, you take this, you will be flying in here, you will be doing something very strange with the people like this. So, but what we need is, and then the storage of this is still a question mark. We need to work together to advise them how to store it, how to produce it, how to sell it, etc. And we have to address the problem of the country in terms of publication, people are standing, the world is so far, but in our country still we say, oh, this is a story produced saying on a, let's say, tree, which is apple tree. Oh, this is apple. Oh, this is white. Oh, this is red. It's still an apple. It's still an apple. And hundreds of publication on that apple. So we need to go a little fast track now. Otherwise, we will be still. These are the products of Karshi that we are trying on nano sort of thing. These are very famous products in the market, from cough syrup to banafsha, etc. All people are knowing all this. Anti-fat and almond oil, blah, blah, blah. We are trying to use these basic products now, like the earlier I said, the other products that they are there, so that it is nanotechnology based product. We already started, and I invited, my brother Raza to think about it. In the immediate future, we will have product, cosmetics, etc. And in the long run, this medicine available for fifth generation medicine, what we call it. So this is our two extremes that, brother, we too should start and working together to find things from lab to lifestyle, what I call it. This is AI. I asked them, we want to plan this. They said, oh, in a brief, this is this. So AI told me, this is what you should be planning from the now to the bigger thing. So if I close it with clinical trials, I mean from belief to evidence. Of course, you believe. For example, you say the funiculum, which we call it in local language, somf, is good for stomach. Okay, it's good for stomach. But why? So that is what we need to work, ensuring safety and efficacy, building credibility and gold standards for herbal medicine. So these are the basic things that we would be working. And this will not only be for Pakistan. As I said, with WHO, we are working, and they are worried because for herbal medicine, not many clinical trial institutes. For other are available. But for herbal medicine, registered registered places are not there. So that's what we really need to work. There are some, at least 19 have been identified. For example, it's a holy book, Quran, as a medicine. On one side, if you believe in religion. On another side, hypocrite, like 460 years back, now almost 3,000 years back. They were having, whenever somebody was dying 10,000 years ago, when they were putting there some plants, they were putting with them. If they wake up, they can use it. So these are the things that they were already there, but we still want to work. There are some FDA-approved herbs based on evidence. So this is an example for us, but very, very few. So you will have a huge market globally too, that this is a place which is registered with DRAP, Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan, accredited, and we provide facilities for clinical trial on herbs. So you will get a lot of fund, resources internationally to use all this. So I don't want to talk about all this in detail, but I know the system, how will you establish it with the government of Pakistan, what kind of regulations are needed, what do you mean by an investigated product, etc. All these, because I'm their member, so we can work together. This was for you. The rules regulation that they are already there, pricing policy, etc., and approval, how you get it, and how you compliance with the rules available in the country. So, and of course, various aspects of it, like patient safety, like informed consent, like ethical kind of things, monitoring and auditing. These are all there. But I propose this one, that we should have a chairman of, you can appoint somebody, and I offer Director iccbs to be the head of the system, and then my other people will work under him, and we'll have connections with hospitals and clinics and patients, and this is what we propose for future, that let's work together and find some kind of thing that could be benefit for the country. These are various, only available in the world that works on herbal clinics trials, and there's only a few. So you will be a new entity, specifically South Asia. Only very, very few people are working. And the guidelines of WHO, safety, efficacy, standardization, quality. So this is the wellness that Kashif Vast Clinic that we have. We offer that's your property, and iccbs visionary partnership. We should work together, and then mission and vision of how we work, how will we have this global market growth, what we will capture from it through all this, from journey discovery to the market. All these students can be accommodated there, many of them, and they can somehow work from phase 1 to phase 4, because in herbal medicine you don't need to work on animals. This is the good of it, because you have a background data available. So that step is being taken off internationally. You direct start with patient, but you have to record data, and then you have to produce it. So a bit simpler than this is what our clinic is at the time doing. Facilities, we have diagnostic facilities. Our students are intern, our workforce for future leaders, and these programs already. This is my first lecture, by the way, for that clinic, because it was very recently, last month, I think, or 2 weeks back, it was established, and he caught me hold of myself, and I'm here to tell you all these stories that why this is important. I thought it's better to have something practical for you that we can work on all that. So this initiative, of course, the objectives are to promote innovation and to foster collaboration and partnership, and empowering herbal industry, its growth, etc., for the country and for the world, and our young people will be accommodated, many of them in this. And of course, we will have sustainable development, economic health, etc., and we will have global recognition too. We will be leaders in that field if we start doing on all this. And of course, I don't want to narrate all of you why academia and industry partnership. These are all those buzzwords that you are listening every now and then. But this will be a practical steps that if we start working together, that will be really helping us a lot. So let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen. I think I spent off. I'm sorry, well, it's more 5 minutes more, I think, than I was asked to 40 to 45 minutes. So let's blend old and new. The grandfather and the grandchild working together, having those ideas of, from thousands of years with the modern world. And then, now we are FOST, Karshi, iccbs, and many others can join us. And these are the final parts, that we are not just creating product, but we are building foundation for a healthier, more sustainable future. Together, we can foster a culture of holistic health and academic excellence while advancing diagnostic and research capabilities and capacities. There are a lot of opportunities, student engagement, research collaboration, community outreach, innovation, etc. Now, the call of action is for faculty, advocate this if you like it, please comment. We'll be open for question. For students, Embrace these opportunities. Don't look for the government job alone. Let's find things for you to work, and you be the leader. You should not be one employee in one organization. You should be a person who should employ 100 of people under him. So let's do that kind of thinking. So this is what we plan. These are the people. It's not me. I'm just a spokesperson, by the way. I'm a salesman. These are the people behind all this. These are only few. There are many. So I took the recent picture of one of the Viva examination of one of my PhD students, probably. So what we can do is learn from those animals how they cross a difficult path. I wish that we are at least little more intelligent than they are. So we say we are ashraful makhlukat, but I don't know whether we are or not. हम तो शायद एक दूसरे को धक्का देते हैं ना. So look at them. And finally, thank you, Raza, Riyazuddin. I was trying to say Riyazuddin and Riyazuddin, but I hope I can spell it properly. I'm grateful, and my leader and all follow Raza. You are the head of all of us, and we are all the heads of always you. So that was you, and I am looking forward for a brighter future. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Raza. I'm sorry, Mr.
Yeah, questions?
Please.
Question. Okay.
Thank you so much. Jeremiah actually came from London. Here for that better product, so impressed by the presentation.
Thank you.
About France being listed as the apple mix. We know France produced this second emission as a response to the environment. So my wife has always been, how do we make sure that when we are in France, there is reproducibility in the metabolites which are present in it? Because in a dry season, this plant may produce different metabolites as compared to wet, or in the morning, even in the evening. So how do we ensure that we have same metabolites at every time we collect this plant? Thank you.
Good. Another two, and then I respond together.
So with your own experience now, merging your knowledge of natural then one still looks at the use of concoction, putting into consideration the synergistic effect of these plants, always stick to a single plant, understanding the fact that single plants too still work to treat building. I have some more questions, but it's has to do with some level of institutional context. Well, now we have learned from you this you have said, but as individual researchers, it's a lot beyond us. Recently, just last month, an institution called me to deliver a lecture, I'm sorry to take our time, to deliver a lecture which actually is about African traditional medicine day. It is celebrated every September. Also, it's about merging indigenous knowledge with research and ensuring that every stakeholder profits from it. And I could see that everybody, the custodians of the knowledge, which are traditional herbal practitioners, the researchers, lecturers, government, everyone has role to play. So if as students now I'm here, maybe become researcher to learn, other stakeholders who have role to play are not here to see the importance of these collaboration activities. So it draws us back because eventually we are not able to push our research beyond the labs. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I wish I remember what you said. So there was three, four paragraphs, and it is the third one that I have. But starting from the common thing, that you're 100% right. When I was, this is the last century when I was like you. So your last part, with this, the rangers, the collectors, the biodiversity areas, etc. As a student, as a researcher, our role and their role in finally getting the product, which in the morning will be different than in the evening, and not only that, when you have such a diversity of a plant from 1,000 meter height and 3,000 meter height with its resilience, resistance to the climate change, etc. How will it behave, and whether it will be the same quantity of thing that our body needs it, and then concoction and auction or whatever. You have so many, as I said, our Hakims, they say in our language, this is hot in response, this is cold in response. And when we were children, we were told if you eat, for example, fish, don't have, for example, milk after it, otherwise you will have loose motion, for example. So there are things that are some based on indigenous knowledge, and why I am advocating the modern knowledge, the two extremes. One is this, that the plant looks like this, and one is that I'm going to talk about demo and all these products and in the market, blah, 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 and how would, when we have, let's say, 3 or at least 4 plants together, and then have what we call it in our local language, pushta. The traditional healer, it will make you strong, and you will see, the angels flying in air. So that's it, one side and the other. What I'm saying to you is, we have worked on that. One, when you will finally have a product, that this is the plant and this treats this, these are the plants that we have found. But with, as I said, with a little bit of effort, we could know it's not only the plant, it's the fungus inside the plant, for example. And now, with this modern technology, if we go so far that the world is going, you are saying something, and I will just write on my mobile. I'll tell you a small story, and then I come back to this. That my staff, I asked them to one apply, complain that, sir, it took 25 days to translate our university name is Urdu, from English to Urdu, 25 days, and I have to appear in the board and blah, blah, blah. I asked him, send me this material. He sent it after 3 minutes. I sent him the translation, the legal word. Then I said, which one is good? Sir, I said, I'm an old man, but I use this terrible thing of mobile, what is called, and Jimny, and chat, and blah, blah, blah. So now with this modern knowledge, and then I link you to you secure coming back to you, but these stories are important for you. That a small country, Israel, a little small Jewish, which is not even 5% of your population, but slapping you every day. And with this mobile, they can kill me standing here. Then they have just to push a button. The reason that we still think that way, and they are ahead of us of the technology, pager they have, they sell it in the neighboring country and they can explode it whenever they want. So that is the difference. And they precisely, they take a building where Hamas people are staying, for example. So now these everything, I ask you guys, why not we, what is the reason? It's not the number of the people, you are more than, many percents, 100% more than that. But you're still, the reason is technology. No. So for this, number one, for example, your question. Finally, we come to know this is the plan, this is important, blah, blah, blah. So if you are cultivating wheat in 1 hectare and you are getting, let's say, $500 in a year, you grow this plant, you get $5,000 in a year. And you know the quality, it's all saved in the crop, it's saved the leaf, the structure, the things. And because of science, you as young scientists will turn, harvest it in the morning time, harvest it in that time, don't do this, you don't need to uproot it, you need only leaves, so cut only these, don't destroy biodiversity, blah, 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 blah. So this is what we need to do when we are economically strong. There, with all this knowledge, with these modern things and forefathers' knowledge, they gave us basics, like you, whatever allopathic medicine are, at least 30%, 35% are of plant origin. You all know, it's your field, not mine. This institute has all this data available with them. So they too are, and now I'm going a little ahead of it. If allopathy says this compound was isolated from that plant, I say why compound, why not the only nanoparticle if that's working? So let's start from the end rather than from the zero. And let's be a role in the international market. We don't stop doing traditional things. It's going side by side. But we should also be competing with those who kills me with their mobile in my phone. So I'm trying to catch the flight rather than running, So what we do is that we base on our traditional knowledge, knowing all this, growth, cultivation, and as you said, this will give money to if I ask the mountain man, don't grow, maize, you don't need it too much, grow this plant. And it will give you 10 times more if I have a product which is on the market, which gives me a lot of money. But if I don't have a product, they are not interested in that. They are dying of hunger. And then now both the countries, because I've been in Kenya, I was driving towards, the extreme part of touching the development and the problem. So they're very beautiful and well calculated. Thanks coming here. I hope I addressed a little bit indirectly. Anything else? Yeah. Homeopathic? Yeah. I'm a homeopathic specialist. I have a degree. That's my hobby. Learning about it. Homeopathy is they're treating the disease through their disease, they call it. So, this is the philosophy behind it. And they use not nanoparticles, but the minutest part of the drug. In the other, the herbal medicine, you have, as said, many plants sometimes one whole plant, a lot of things together. But there, they use the minutest part, not exactly nano, but close to that, to treat the disease. And disease to, when the first vaccine, like vaccine is, so the same kind of story there in the whole trial.
So it should be right along with chemotherapy, or it should be right away?
This is a tricky question to be very candid. First, because you have to talk to your doctor too. Not the day that you're being, today you got a chemo, treatment, and then evening you use it, so there may be some. Because your body at that time is fighting with one kind of intervention. But at the same time, when you have a day period, this is because just like you are having Sahar. The Sahar, it doesn't harm you too much, but usually the advice as a para person would be that you start with the minute thing. Like if you ever visit me in my room, I have green tea and I put these, small plants there and I take it. So we start with small, if anything wrong with you, it's a kind of, investigation. You stop it, you reduce it, you increase it. That's how we do it. So when we advise, we say, have a great tea of it, but use it this way. First, let's say 1/8 of a teaspoon. You put that in. Anything else, yeah, from here?
So as you are talking about clinical trial, like this is the R1, so we don't need animal study.
Yeah.
So they already have a
Lot of data.
So in the clinical trial, you have a full placebo control also. In that we are not having active. So when patients come to your clinical trial, so you are giving placebo and like they are seeing that time getting treatment. So as the time passes, their symptoms get worse. In that case, like what you do, what the safety protocol?
This, when we say we will be doing clinical trial, we registered ourselves with the government. And then we registered practitioners with us. Like it's not that we treat people in the lab. It's not that way. In herbal medicine, we registered the practitioners, herbal practitioners with ourselves, with this clinical trial institute. We will be watching them. Like they will be giving us data, as you said. For example, because this individual personalized kind of world now, something like some of the societies, because of genetic method, they cannot even digest milk, for example. In our Hindi area, there's a famous tribe that they cannot digest milk. And some cannot digest, let's say, buffalo, this goat milk versus cow milk, for example. And same is true for drug, and even allopathic drug. Even vaccine, a dose may be good enough for you, but not for me. It may clot my blood, but not yours. So this is all now we are applying in herbal too. As I said to that lady, we start with minute things, we advise them to do this way, we have data, and then we get data from, let's say, 100, practitioners, we analyze it, and then finally we come to a conclusion that probably this is good for you. And probably it has this kind of, usually the herbalist would say, this has no side effect, it's not true. Usually they say your forefathers have, you have no problem. No, it's not true. It may have. So that's also you have to, consent and, the international standard that you have to have that data. That's how it will be evidence-based or science-based when we do all these mechanisms for this. Otherwise, people are already using it. For example, what we call it, Tutsia, Morus nigra. What in English is what? Mulberry, black mulberry. It's very good for throat. There's no doubt about it. It's very good for your tongue. And doesn't impact you too much. Like another, you have alcohol, you get sleepy, allopathic. But this works because it's just simple grinding of the black mulberry. And we have a very good product for this. In fact, some several industries are producing. So this is one example. But that too, maybe 1 in 1,000% may reflect a different way. That 1% you have to find and you have to report. So this is how it works. I hope I. Anything else?
So one more question.
Yeah.
Like I'm from Nepal, our environment is similar to the northern Pakistan.
I don't. I've been there for maybe more than you've been there.
So like now with global warming, the alpine region carrying like herbal medicine, they are increasing. So now it's very difficult to get those medicines like 20 years back.
Yes.
Right? Northern Pakistan also like if we see in there is no more not deforestation. Now what kind of
ex situ conservation, but they call ex situ recovery. So there are two words for conservation. In situ conservation, ex situ conservation. In situ is trying in the area where it is. Ex situ is bring the seed in a seed bank, the glasses that you have, blah, blah, blah. That is ex situ. And then you take something, go back there after, because this will continue. Glaciers are melting, water is coming down, strange things are happening. Some other day I will come again and talk to you about climate change and the impact on society, blah, blah, and specifically on biodiversity. There are some good of it, there are some bad of it. So the conservation efforts can be in situ and ex situ, and there are a lot of ways to do it. I was, by the way, working in Nepal. iccbs, we were working together for conservation of habitats. There, and I tracked a lot, as I said. So in Nepal, and by the way, that aspect is one of the treasures in the world, as I said, the part of but that you work into ex situ and then ex situ, bring those very, very important plants and factor. It's not only plants. Animals are, threatened and going extinct. And now you have technology, you can recreate dinosaurs if you want today. So you use the technology to do good for the nature, good for the humans. Anything else? If not, what do you say? Oh, yes, sir.
My name is Casey, I'm from Nigeria. I want to ask this question. From where I come from, my people who take this concussion as much as they want. As a natural chemist, we get very good to apply some caution or to just take it because they feel they have malaria, typhoid, any kind of illness. They just take it and they feel relief or something. Would you recommend them to apply some caution, or they should go ahead to take it at the end?
No, I will have caution. Being a scientist, and the reason is the reason. Their feeling are the traditional people. They say when you have lady fingers when you eat it, not these fingers, actual fingers, but the other finger, what you call it, I don't know, okra, whatever. So when you are eating, so in that too, you have 5, 6 plants, like you have onion, you have tomato, you have ketchup, you have blah, blah, blah. There are so many things that you are eating. So the traditional people are thinking if you can eat those, these are also plants I'm eating 5 or 6 of them. So why are you stopping me? They're thinking, they're philosophy. But as a chemist and as a scientist, not too much in like your belly, there's millions of organisms in you, beneficial. And you take something, some of the beneficial things go out in terms of the loose motions. If you take a lot of antibiotic for it. So same is there, that you are taking in one plant, there is billions of compounds. And if you have 6, 7 together, these vegetables and these things for thousands of years, our body got used to it and they know what to get and what to throw away. If you take something new, your body has to compete and to decide which to take, which not to take. And in that, some may big, deposit in your liver, in your kidneys, where everything is happening as a biologist, and that you may destroy one of your organs, for example. And I have, by the way, removed one of them because of similar kind of thing. Not herbals, but I got some food in some mountainous area, then on the way, and finally, they had to throw it away in one of my organs. So that is that you have to have the conscious advise them. Even if you want to use it, as I said, start it from the minute, like homeopathy is good. Homeopathy is the smallest thing that they start with. And usually it doesn't become, deposit a lot in your sensitive part of your body. Otherwise, I'm sorry to use this word, if you don't mind, with this pollution, even your sperms have a plastic particle in that. There are the cause. There's a lot of pollution. Thank you, and had a pleasure having you. Thank you very much. Look, that's what it is. मैंने बताया मुझे पहले मैं अंदर गया अच्छा फिर उन्होंने मुझे कहनी बाहर गया तो